The amount of calories you burn during a workout does not qualify the success of that workout. Now, I genuinely mean that, and not in a motivational perspective. I mean physiologically, caloric expenditure is a little bit overrated. I'm Dr. Trevor Benyon, and I'm an exercise scientist, and I'm going to tell you a few stories about calories. So I posted on social media about calories not being the ultimate metric for a successful workout. And I think that a lot of people meant it like exercise is more valuable than caloric expenditure. It's about de-stressing, about being able to move and having fun. And those are very true. I wholeheartedly agree that exercise should be about doing things that you enjoy and having fun. But let's look at a weight loss perspective. Let's say someone is serious about their weight loss and wants to trim down as efficiently as possible. What does the research say about the value of calories in that perspective? All right, so I guess let me rephrase this. If you eat a few hundred calories less than normal every day and you work out, we can all agree that you're probably going to lose weight. But why? What is a calorie and what is it doing? Let me spin this a little bit more. If you eat a few calories less than normal every day, but you don't exercise, so let's say you're still at a caloric deficit, but it's purely through your diet, will you lose weight? Yeah, probably. But how much of that weight loss is fat loss? How much of that weight loss is muscle loss? So again, the deeper question, what exactly is the role of a calorie in your body composition? Now here's a third scenario. If you burn 500 calories a day, but then you eat an extra 500 calories a day, would your body composition change at all? Would you just be at this frustrated net balance of nothing changing? When you're at a caloric deficit, how does your body know from where it should be losing mass? That's important to think about, but not as important as this next question. When you eat less to achieve a caloric deficit without exercising, are you able to stimulate metabolic change? All right, now let me break that question down. What drives fat metabolism? Metabolism in general is an on-demand feature in your body. Fatty acids are metabolized under aerobic conditions only and inside the mitochondria. So when you exercise and train under aerobic conditions, you then drive and stimulate change for your aerobic metabolism. As a result, within your muscle fibers, you grow larger and greater quantity of mitochondria. You also grow a denser network of capillaries to that muscle, allowing for your arterial blood flow to essentially drop off more oxygen effectively at your muscle. So those two ingredients for fat metabolism, oxygen being present and mitochondria being present, are then magnified when you do aerobic training. Does eating less and not exercising do the same thing? No, not at all. I honestly feel like these questions are the thing that everyone talks about and argues about, but saying that a workout is all about the numbers of calories you burn is kind of just like saying the criteria for a really good book is just about how many pages it has, not about the characters or the story, just how big of a book. So if your personal trainer tells you bro, you gotta burn 500 calories in this workout to hit your goals. To me, that's just like a librarian telling you oh man, that book has only got 150 pages. That must suck. Here, take this dictionary. It's got over 1,000 pages, such a page turner. All right, now maybe that example might be a little bit extreme, but my point is this. Caloric expenditure does not qualify the success of your workout because caloric expenditure is only one of the factors involved in metabolism, and it's not even the most important one. All right, I'm going to share with you a research study, and it's one of my favorites for so many reasons. Now, when I cite research, I always try to find a current reference from within the last 5 years or so. But in this case, one of my very favorite things about this specific research study that I'm going to tell you about is that it's over 20 years old. It was published in 1994. Exercise scientists Tremblay, Simoneau, and Bouchard conducted a study, and they compared traditional jogging for 20 weeks compared to sprint interval training for 15 weeks. So again, we had one group jogging at a consistent and steady pace, about 45 minutes per session. Then we had another group sprinting for around 30 seconds, all out intensity, and then resting for 60. Then they repeated that routine for a total of 30 minutes. So that's 10 minutes of cumulative work and 20 minutes of cumulative rest. So again, one group performed 45 minutes of work 5 times a week for 20 weeks, compared to the other group that performed 10 minutes of total work 3 times a week for 15 weeks. The jogging group exercised more and burned way more calories than the sprint interval training group. Specifically, they burned more than double the calories than the sprint interval group. Furthermore, fat metabolism during exercise peaks at around moderate intensities, close to a jogging pace. So the jogging group exercised specifically at an intensity that metabolized a good volume of fatty acids, while the sprint interval group exercised at intensities exclusive to carbohydrate metabolism. So one group burned more calories and burned more fat during the exercise. The other group worked less, burned less calories, and burned almost no fat or metabolized almost no fat during the exercise itself. But guess what happened? The sprint interval group significantly improved their health more and significantly lost more body fat by the end of the study compared to the jogging group. The researchers stated, when corrected for the energy cost of training, the decrease in the sum of the 6 subcutaneous skin folds induced by the high-intensity interval training program was 9-fold greater than by the endurance training program. So in other words, the interval training group burned less than half of the calories of the other group over the course of a few months' time, but they lost way more body fat, so much that when you stack up some of the variables and then tear it to zero, the difference in fat loss was 9 times greater. The researchers concluded that the common belief among health professionals is that low-intensity, long-duration exercise is the most appropriate type of program for the obese, because the proportion of lipid in the fuel mix oxidized under these circumstances is greater than during high-intensity effort. All right, so in other words, that quote means that scientists, they used to think that if you are exercising at an intensity like low and slow fat burn zone cardio, where you are maximally relying on fat as a fuel, then naturally and subsequently, you would lose the most amount of fat. And that makes logical sense. So if you're using fats, then it's like a tank of fuel going down more and more, resulting in genuine fat loss. So for it not to work that way is understandably confusing. But that's exactly what this study stated. And even though the fitness industry has been promoting other things than fat burn zone, like more resistance training for fat loss in recent years, and a lot of people are beginning to realize that the fat burn zone on their heart rate monitors and on their treadmills isn't the only or even the most efficient means of achieving weight loss, many people don't understand that next level of depth of what's really happening, specifically how fat loss really works. It's like they see the parts of fitness and research that are coming together, but they're still choosing to rely on the older principles behind it all that they were previously taught. So what is really happening here? And how could this study I just cited have the results that it did? How could somebody burn approximately half of the calories as somebody else and then lose approximately 9 times more fat? The answer to that question is expansive and deep, and I have so many things to say about it. But to keep it simple and to stay true to the point of this video, I'll say this. There are other factors, other than caloric expenditure, that influence stored body fat behavior that influence fatty acid transport and influence fatty acid metabolism. That study from 1994 has been replicated multiple times and validated multiple times. Sprint interval training is hard work, but it does amazing things. But perhaps even most amazing is how it's unveiled numerous and more impactful mechanisms regarding stored body fat, fat metabolism, and muscle physiology. I hope this discussion has inspired some critical thinking and deep questions. Comment your questions down below. I am genuinely excited to check them out. Eat healthy, move often, have fun. If you count your calories in your diet or in your workout, power to you. I encourage you to learn more about exercise science, about metabolism, about energy expenditure, and about sports nutrition. Visit fitandfizz.com and check out some of our latest in our online courses and in our online coaching programs, which are dedicated to teaching you the basic and advanced principles of health, fitness, nutrition, and exercise science.